What if you knew what men secretly wanted, but they could never tell you? Right here, right now, is the surprising reason men aren't committing to you and exactly how to get them to commit and say yes now. Hello, my name is James Bauer, and if you've ever wanted to know how to truly understand any man, then this is the most important video you'll ever watch. You're going to discover a secret loophole in the male mind that will allow you to truly connect with any man and get him to commit to you for good. You'll also learn about a simple shift you can make to see the world through a different lens, a lens that will reveal exactly what men are thinking and what they really want in a woman. Read on to discover how you can use this powerful principle in your life to become more attractive to men and have an incredible relationship starting today. Let me ask you, have you ever had a feeling that things were going well with your man, but somehow knew that something was wrong and had a feeling of dread that you can't quite place? Have you tried to have the talk with your boyfriend to figure out the status of your relationship, only to have him suddenly go cold at even the mention of commitment? Have you been in a relationship with an amazing guy before when he suddenly became distant and his whole attitude changed, and before you knew it he was gone? Have you felt things were going great with a guy, and this could be your boyfriend or your husband, and you want to do everything in your power to make sure the relationship not only survives but thrives? Have you ever wondered if he really loves you, or if he's bored in the relationship? Have you just wanted to make him see that inside you're the perfect girl for him, and together you would make the perfect couple and live an amazing life together? Well, you're definitely not alone in these experiences. As a relationship consultant, I hear unfortunate stories like this all the time, but when the problem hit a little too close to home, I knew I had to do something about it. You're about to discover a deep-seated gap in communication that very few women or men understand. This same gap has the biggest impact on the success or failure of a relationship, yet hardly anyone talks about it. The good news is, if you know how to bridge the gap, it's possible for you to enjoy a rare kind of relationship most women simply can't imagine. A bright and vivid romance that makes life exciting and worth living. I'm going to tell you about the lunch that changed everything. Since I'm a relationship consultant, I get asked for relationship advice a lot from my female friends, and a short time ago, I agreed to sit down for lunch with a woman that I've known for a very long time. She was experiencing an emotionally painful situation that I had heard of many times before. She had met a new guy at work, and at first things were exciting and seemed to be going really well. It started with tantalizing phone calls and texts, and soon moved on to romantic dates she would rush home to tell her friends all about. For weeks, she thought everything was going perfect. They would spend all night talking and text flirt all throughout the workday. And one day, while on a date with him, she couldn't help but feel so good about how things were going. They had an amazing romantic night together. They gushed on the phone that night about what the future held, and the night ended really well. But that's where things went bad. During their nightly call, he suddenly became very silent. She had never known him to be like that before. He was usually so cheerful and romantic. She tried to figure out what was wrong, but he just said that he was tired and had to go. But that was just the beginning. She tried to call him the next day, and again he ended the call a lot sooner than normal. Soon her text started to go unanswered, and before long, they stopped altogether. She never heard from him again. She didn't want to tell her friends about it because of how many times she had told them he was the one and how amazing everything was. But that night she went to sleep wondering if she was just terminally flawed when it came to dating, thinking maybe she was just meant to be single forever and never know what it was like to have a secure and loving relationship. The next morning she woke with the same feeling of dread and loneliness she had felt for years. She was in so much pain she couldn't even go to work, so she decided it was time to call me up. It was hard for me to hear. There was obviously a lot of pain in her voice. Unfortunately, I hear this story all the time, and the worst part is, she didn't even know what she was doing wrong or why he didn't call her back. I cared deeply for this girl, and I was very familiar with this specific problem. But as we sat there and talked, an idea struck me like a lightning bolt. That past week I had been trying to understand and solve a similar but unrelated problem for a course I was creating primarily for men. With a surge of excitement, it suddenly occurred to me that both issues were actually very related. It all had to do with a primal driving force in all men that few, if any, are even aware of. Using a little creative problem solving, I quickly formulated a simple solution I was confident would work for any situation. The answer had been right in front of me. It's something that I now call the respect principle, and it's the biggest key for getting any man to want to truly commit to you. Once I told her about the insight and the solution I had, which really only took about 10 minutes to explain, she completely lit up. I didn't expect her to believe me so quickly, but she seemed to instinctively get it. She knew what she had to do differently, and she was eager to put her new knowledge into action. For her, it became a story with a fairy tale ending. She's now engaged to an amazing man that adores her